Okay, welcome back to Uzaki-chen Wants to Hang Out, Anime Review, episode number 10. Yep, reviewing the final episode of Season 1 for this series, which is called Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out More. Yep, now this one does pick up exactly where the last week's episode left off, where Hannah is like, we actually feel the reason why she can hang out with him more, because she forgot to do her summer homework, and then later on, she got it done, no problem. Now, this episode does adapt from chapters 30 and 33 34. Still skipping over 28 for some reason. Don't know why, but it does. Yes, and I looked up online when I was looking up chapter 35. Apparently, part of this chapter was adapted for episode number 8. Yes, the flashback sequence where Hana's in high school with the swim team. Yeah, that was taken from that chapter. I'd say it skipped over the first 3 pages and skipped through the last page and adapted most of that chapter for episode 8. I thought it was just one chapter. Well, that's mostly true. It's actually it's one chapter plus most of another chapter. Now, what they adapted from the 3 chapters here, well, 30, basically, it starts out right after that, where they're at the cafe and the master of the shop basically breaks his back out, lets his back out when he tries to lift a heavy box. Look out, Sakurai has got a driver's license, takes the master's car to the chiropractor, and the chiropractor is a smoking hot nurse and of course Sakurai is getting kind of nervous about the nurse because she's basically pushing her chest against the guy's back, and he's loving it. Of course, what happens here basically between Hana and Ami, the fact that he closed the shop up, of course, apparently she decided to change her clothes. Now, there is a slight change here from the manga. Yes, in the manga, the actual coffee pot where this coffee comes from. In the anime, she just randomly hands her a cup of coffee. And she drinks it, enjoys it, talks briefly about Sakurai, then she leaves. And that's it. In case you're wondering, that was that whole sequence, which took up about 5 minutes. Yeah, this quick sequence is basically pretty much what happened in chapter 30. And then the rest of this is simply put what happened 33 and 34. Where Hana asks Sakurai's friend, what is he like when he's drunk? Yep, what he's like when he's drunk. So, basically they come with the ingenious scheme. Okay, we'll get him drunk, basically feeding great food, and, also drinking some booze, and also offering up 5 movies. 5 shark movies. Probably all terrible because a lot of the time, with the exception of Jaws, a lot of these shark movies are pretty laughably bad. Excuse me, yes. And Hana shows up with some beer, and of course, they had the food, which is basically chili shrimp. I've never tried. I actually just had tonight. I had grilled shrimp for dinner tonight. So, nice to see shrimp basically in the same day in this episode that I eat shrimp for dinner. Yep. So, and then of course she pours beer, has him drink beer. He gets wasted, and Hana gets wasted too. And of course, I don't remember the guy's name. He's basically Sakurai's friend. Shows up, and he kind of in a way puts him in the same futon. Puts in the futon, of course she crawls in. Of course she's drunk, of course she pokes. Now there's some slight edit, let's just say removal of dialogue, because in the manga he says love you and says cooking. In the anime just I love, and he's just passed out. Then Hana drinks and she could pass out too. The very next morning, Hana and Sakurai wake up in the futon. Nothing happening. There is a slight visual change here because in the manga they were actually a bit far away from the wall when this happened. In the anime, their heads are very close to the wall, though they kind of wake up in different directions, in a way. Yep. So they explain this to Ami and her father what happened, and they don't remember what happened. And basically after kind of explaining this, basically what happened, and then okay, let's do it tonight. And he goes, I can't. Why? Because we got school tomorrow. Oh crap, we got school tomorrow. Okay, fine. And she's worried about not hanging out more. Of course, she just mentioned she did finish her report. Then, of course, we cut back to her house where we see her mother and her brother. Yep, her brother making his first appearance in the anime. You can kind of say this is his first full appearance in the series, despite the fact that here's the thing: he doesn't make it. From what I've read, he doesn't make his first full appearance in the manga of the series based upon until chapter 42. Yes, that's his first appearance in the series. And for some reason, they gave him the voice that the person who voiced him sounds a lot like a woman. I don't think it's like a real voice in this guy. I'm not sure who it is, but it sounds like a woman. That's why this is clearly a guy, because here's the thing. Hana's younger sister has got her hair covering her eyes. And they talk for a bit, and then of course the thing ends pretty much the same way the series started. Hana's wearing her basically the trademark shirt when people look her up for the series, the super huge shirt. She's back wearing that and the blue shorts, basically the outfit, the same exact outfit she wore in the pilot episode, and she runs a Sakurai. It's a very similar thing of how the thing ended, how the series began. Quite interestingly for it. All in all, pretty good episode. And can't wait for season 2, which they did confirm is coming out next year. Now, in case you're curious still, what was the most recent chapter released? 59. Yep, that was the most recent chapter released for the series. And well, who knows? There might be more chapters coming. It might be by this time next year. Well, basically whenever they release the series, they may probably get past chapter 60 by that point. It's possible. But it all depends upon how far things go to, because if you look at overall for this whole series, in just 12 episodes, they adapted 33 of the first 34 chapters of the series. The only one they skipped over was 28. But they adapted pretty much everything else, which is quite interesting, which makes the series have something common with Val Likes to Love. They went pretty much the same distance this one did, so... Excuse me. So I wouldn't be surprised, though, if in fact they start off the very next season with the little bit they skipped over from chapter 35 and throw in chapter 28 as well. It's possible, to say the least. Because there's like 3 pages of basically present-day stuff in the chapter that start off with, and then you have a whole flashback sequence, which is basically from episode 8, and then you have the last page basically kind of bookending. I wouldn't be surprised if they start off with that as the thing. They start off the very first episode of the second season with it, and go from 28 and then go from 36 forward. How far do I think they'll get with it? I don't know how far they get through in season 2. They probably won't have that many chapters like they did with this season. Yeah, but this season was like basically about 33 chapters. Next season they might adapt a little bit more. They probably adapt a little bit less because, well, even though next season is coming next year, they probably won't adapt that many chapters. I wouldn't be surprised if they stick to just adapting 1 chapter per episode, or they might just start some anime or stuff. Who knows? It probably will depend on it. And here's the thing: only 1 episode from the series actually is, I kid you not, complete and original. Yes, out of the 12 episodes this season, only 10 is a complete and original episode. Everything else is adapted from the manga. Yeah. But this series was fun to watch, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And yes, I did pretty much watch this whole thing entirely dubbed while it was coming out. Yep. So yeah, that's it for this particular review. Now, next time you see this series won't be next year. Yep, so with this thing done, that means that, well, since Character Summer Love is War basically would have finished this final finale tonight, which means now basically for basically Friday in a way, it's mostly reduced down to about 3 series. Fire Force, the Half Princess series, Yasumi Half Princess, and Is It Wrong to Regret? Basically, it's down to 3 series. 2 of whom one of whom we can definitely guaranteed episodes released every week. Though this one doesn't have many left, yes. In the case of Is It Wrong to Girls Dungeon, like after this week, there's only 4 episodes left. And that's it. Yep, 4 episodes. So, yeah, this will wrap by next month. Yeah, Fire Force probably won't wrap up until, and this is my personal guess of when it'll wrap up. Yeah, it probably will wrap up also next month as well. Well, the season in Japan will wrap up next month, but the dub itself probably won't wrap up until early next year. So yeah, this one was the only one lasting for a pretty good period of time. But okay, so yeah, basically 1 month left of the series, and that's it. So the only ones basically after next one basically going forward for dub for Fridays, it just gotta be Fire Force and well, your Semi Princess Half Demon. Yeah, just these two because well, that's been pretty much what we're doing forward, unless of course they said to have a seasonal type of series for that one. Or they continue the whole year. It just depends what the series wants to do. Okay, so that's it for single review. Stay tuned for the next video, which will be a review of newest episode of Fire Force. Okay, to the next video. Bye.